Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Patti Brennan Show. Whether you have $20 or $20 million, this show is for those of you who want to protect, grow, and use your assets to live your very best lives. As you all know, at the end of every podcast, I usually end by saying if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Send us an email. Go to our website at keyfinancialinc.com and ask us your questions. And what we've been doing is we've been gathering all of these questions and have started this series called Ask Patti Brennan. And so today I'm going to spend about 10 minutes answering one of the questions that I get a lot, especially now given Biden's tax proposal. And that is, what things should I consider when I'm thinking about updating my estate plan? So, first and foremost, let me say to all of you as I record this in May of 2021 that Biden's tax proposal does not have anything as it relates to estate taxes in it. At the very last minute, they removed all of it. And the reason for that, and by the way, just what they were thinking and what the rumors are, and if you're online and you're looking for this, it's still out there that Biden's proposal, or actually we should say Bernie Sanders' proposal, is that they want to reduce the amount that you can leave to the next generation from $11.7 million to $3.5 million. However, at the last minute, they left it out because due to something called the sunset provision, they already know that it's going to go to $5.5 million in 2026. So when it was all said and done, they said, why are we going to fight that battle? It's already going to go down because of the sunset. Let's add something else in there that'll give us a lot of revenue right away. So, and for those of you who are interested, listen to my podcast with Bill Cass. That's where we really dig into a lot of the provisions that are in the Biden plan and what you need to be worried about and what you don't need to be worried about. Okay, so just listen to that one. Today I'm going to focus on your estate plan. What do I need to consider? Now that that's off the table, at least temporarily, I would definitely encourage you to at least understand where you are today and have a conversation with your estate planning attorney to say, hey, if this thing or when this thing goes through in 2026, should we be concerned? And is there anything that we need to be thinking about today? Because there are some things that you can do to avoid that tax for your children or the people that you love. That's number one. Number two, as you think about your estate plan, understand, what does it cover? It covers anything that is in your names, even in joint names, joint titling on property or investments. It doesn't get controlled by your will. It goes by operation of law, which means the titling is more important than what you put in your will. I could say, gee, I want my such and such account to go to my 4 children. It doesn't matter. Okay, if I have it jointly held with Ed, Ed's getting all of it. So the titling is more important, as are the beneficiary designations. So make sure that that is congruent with the wishes as you have them in your will. Check your beneficiaries, check your titling. And as you think through your estate plan, also take a look at who you've named as executor, who you've named as perhaps a trustee. Have there been any marriages or divorces? And by the way, I should probably have told you, Ed is my husband. So for the record. The other thing to think about is there anybody in your life that has special needs? Is a special needs trust something that you might want to be thinking about? And also, speaking of trusts are not these things that are only for wealthy people. Trusts can be wonderful tools to protect your family or the people that you love against predators, or somebody might sue them for some unknown reason. If that happens to, let's say, one of your children, the assets that are held in trust for their benefit cannot be attached. If they go through a divorce, this is one of the things that I hear more than anything. What if my son were to get divorced? Well, those assets, if he were to inherit this money outright, certainly the growth of the assets would be included as part of the discussion in the divorce. If it's owned by a trust, it is not. So trusts can be very wonderful tools, and you don't have to be wealthy to have one. Other things to think about as it relates to this, do you have a second home or a vacation home? If so, that might be subject to something called ancillary probate. In English, all that means is if you have a property in New Jersey or Florida, that has to be probated in those states. It gets a little glitchy. That's an easy thing to avoid through the use of something called the revocable living trust. You don't need a revocable living trust in every state because probate is not a big deal in a lot of states. I would say a lot of attorneys would tell you Pennsylvania is one of them. But if you have property in several states or even just another state, that might make sense to add that extra paragraph or two that would allow that to be titled in the name of your revocable trust. How does that work? A revocable trust is literally exactly that. It's completely revocable and changeable. It doesn't even have a separate tax ID. It uses your social security number. So whatever you own personally, your revocable trust can own. Okay, and by the way, you're the trustee. So it's really not that much different. What makes it powerful in certain states is that the trust has a beneficiary, so it goes according to whatever that trust says. If you own it personally, it has to go through your will based on what your will says, and that is a probatable asset. So is probate a big deal? Is it a hassle? And by the way, who's the executor that's going to have to do it? Other things to think about that are kind of out there, we all know that you need a power of attorney, a financial power of attorney, and a healthcare power of attorney. If you have a child 18 years or older, in most states that is the age of majority. If they are in an accident, guess what? They're an adult. The hospital's subject to HIPAA, they cannot give you any information. Only if you have a power of attorney can you authorize treatment for that child. Same thing goes for financial power of attorney. That's probably wills and financial powers of attorney are probably not as important as the healthcare power of attorney. But again, it's not that big of a deal. As long as you're doing yours, get it for them as well. I think that the only other thing that I would add are, and this is something that a lot of people don't realize, are your digital assets. We are hearing more and more stories about people who either, became disabled, may have had a stroke, or died, unexpectedly, and they've got a computer, they've got accounts, and they're paperless. So nobody knows what they have or don't have, and it's not coming in the mail anymore. So how's anybody going to settle the estate? How are they even going to know what's involved? So your digital assets, your passwords, your usernames, where is it located? Where are your accounts? Please do someone a favor. Make a list of them. Get one of these password protector programs like a LastPass or something like that. So really think about that and make a list of where everything is located in terms of where accounts might be, where you do your banking, etc. Try to make it a little bit easier for the people that you're leaving behind. So those are just a few of the things that I wanted to go over with you. Again, a lot of people are already thinking about their estate plan because of a potential change in tax law. I would not necessarily feel the urgency to do that because of Biden's proposal, because it's not included. Now, there's talk about, Sanders and, Von Hollen and Gillibrand, and everybody's got their ideas in terms of what they want to change, but it hasn't been proposed, so they're not even talking about it yet. There are unintended consequences for pretty much everything that we do in the estate planning area. So just be aware of them, run the numbers, and make sure this is actually a problem that needs solving. So, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that was helpful. I am Patti Brennan. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions, again, send us an email. Go onto our website at keyfinancialinc.com. Take care and have a great day.